within you. We've created a community for thoughtful discussions where teachers share their wisdom and seekers explore the depths of their curiosity. It's a space where diverse perspectives come together, fostering connection and understanding. Our intention is simple: to ignite your curiosity and create a life that totally lights you up. Every conversation is a journey, a chance to explore, learn, and embrace the magic that life has to offer. Connect with the Being Curious Show on all major podcast platforms at the Edge Network, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the Being Curious Show.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Cheryl. How are you?
I'm good. How are you on this beautiful Tuesday?
This is a great Tuesday. We're
It is a
doing
great
some shows
Tuesday.
today. This is
I know.
fun.
We're clicking them off. We had to go refreshing our lipstick, and we are back just
We
like
are.
that. And we are back with Jack. Isn't that cool?
Ooh, we should make t-shirts.
I know. Back with Jack.
I'm back with Jack,
There you go.
right?
I'm back with Jack. There you go.
Instead of back with Black, it's back with Jack. It's all good.
Exactly.
This is going to be an interesting interview. I'm
This
really excited about it because I think we're going to shine a light on a community, on a church, on a belief system of sacredness that maybe not everyone's heard about before. So it's a
Exactly.
really good, curious show. I think this is going to be a lot of curiosities. And what I want to invite everyone is to view the show with an open heart, with an open mind. I think there's going to be some people that are like, I'm not alone, and I really want to be a part of this community.
Awesome.
I think we're going to really touch, some hearts and minds and souls today.
Awesome. That's what we're here about, Kelly, but exposing people to different ways to find a community. And, everybody, I know in my work that most people are looking for a community. They're looking for a sacred community, a community of like minds. And so I think Jack is bringing another opportunity for people to find that sort of thing with his beautiful neo-pagan church. And so, I think that's the wonderfulness, is that everybody gets to find and connect and do what feels right for them at a heart and soul level. And Jack just gives another option. And so I think that is the beauty of this show today.
Absolutely. Well, without any further ado, let's welcome Jack to the show.
Hey, Jack. How you doing?
Hi, Jack.
Sweetie?
How are you?
Pretty good. Good afternoon to y'all. So, I like the introduction. Fascinating show. Okay.
Right.
Okay, and we're done.
That's Jack. He's fascinating, and this is who he is. So, Jack, tell us a little bit about you. Who are you today in July 30th, 2024? Welcome.
Okay.
Who are you?
Real quick, I'm an old farm boy that became a hippie, that became a therapist, that became a priest, right? Okay.
Woohoo!
And right now, I'm semi-retired and working on some of the projects of how you call passing the torch on to the next generation of clergy here at Sweetwood. So, been married for 29 years.
Wow.
Okay, a father, a son, and I got a granddaughter. Really, she's kind of good spitfire. Anyway, I like her, and
Awesome.
so that's where I'll just start. Okay.
Perfect. So you have this amazing property that's south of Eau Claire. Did I say that correct?
No, La Crosse.
Sorry, La Crosse. South of La Crosse, about an hour, and it's a neo-pagan church. What is that?
Okay, well, it's a church, but we have to start out with what a neo-pagan is, right?
Perfect.
And what neo-pagan, the word means just new pagan, right?
New pagan.
And this kind of thing started with the transcendentals. People were into nature, back in 17, 1800s, but what it is that there was a desire of reconnecting with values that are involved in people who were much closer to nature. They celebrated the seasons. They had a different value system than we had. And so they were trying to bring that forward.
Mm-hmm.
Some want to reconstruct it. Some want to be exactly like it was. But we all know that's not exactly how it's going to play out. So that's why it's neo-pagan, new pagan. And a lot of it starts out with, in this country, but it'll start in England, with the idea of Western European paganism, and they called it Wicca. There's all kinds of different forms of that. And so they try to do that and bring it forward by doing the wheel of the year, celebrating 8 Sabbaths and full moons and new moons. Just depends upon what you like and how much time you have and how much you are solitary and how much you're involved in the community, right?
Right.
Okay, so that's part of it. Where Sweetwood is just a little bit different. We also are contemporary, but we also understand that behind this whole movement, it's almost as there's an energy, a zeitgeist, as moving through the people for a new age. And it requires, because in the 20th century, young, particularly with the unconscious, start to look at, how we look at this differently. So you have to look at the psychological effects the human beings have been reacting with it. So we kind of look at religion in what they call metaphoric, mythopoetic. That is, that the religion is a metaphor pointing to the mystery rather than taking it literal. So that's part of, it should be, from my point of view, almost all neo-pagans should be that, but we always have a few people who are literalists about things. So, but this is our metaphoric way of doing religion that attunes people to wholeness and nature. So that's kind of where the neo-pagan stuff in, because it's not definitely old.
Nope.
It's a new way of looking at things, but still embodying attunement to nature.
That's beautiful. And so the community is called Sweetwood Temenos.
Right.
And what is a Temenos?
Temenos is the word, has the same root of terror and terrific. And what it means is in Greek to cut aside. What they did in the ancient days, there's a lot of different names for it. But what they did is a clan, a kin, would set aside a piece of land, and they would set it up with an altar dedicated to all the deities. And that's where they had their rites of passage. That's where they had their celebrations. And that's where they made decisions when they had their gathering to make decisions for the tribe or the clan, whatever. And it was a good place to have a party. And because a lot of people if you had a good place with good water or whatever, people like to sell their stuff, right? So you have this whole type of thing. And it's similar. We're not trying to appropriate, but it's similar to, if you want to look at an idea, look at what a powwow is. Okay. And we do have drumming, and we do have people selling things, and we got all kinds of stuff going on. People do party. But what's our Temenos, the 3 things that are dedicated is to contemplation, celebration, and relaxation, or I got those things right. You want to have a place where you can go and feel safe and it's sacred, right? So, and what we did with this Temenos is because part of it was farmland and part of it was woodland, and we needed to build a place where people come. So we created a licensed campground, but we have sustainable woodland management for about 32 acres of the 40 acres. About 6 acres of it is still mowed for grass and for feed, but we're not plowing it anymore. It's just going as organic as can be. And then about 2 acres is a recreational type of thing for the campground. So we wanted to, that's part of the wholeness, and try to bring the 3 pieces together. A little bit of agriculture, recreation, and wildness, right?
Awesome. So when you say church,
right,
this is not any church that I've ever been to.
Right.
So church has a play on this. There's a play word there. It's not a church. People aren't coming to a church like they go to a Sunday church. They're coming to a community to belong, to feel sacred, to feel safe, to connect with spirit, and to connect with the earth. Correct?
Right. And in that sense, the land itself is the building, is the sanctuary. Okay.
Yes.
And the campground became, if you're going to have people together, you really would like at some point flush toilets, showers. You would like to have a picnic shelter, a few other things. And if everything is successful in the next 5 or 6 years, we'll probably have a community center. But we've been grassroots building. So, but the land is really the building, the church, if you want to look at it.
It's the vessel. It's the vessel in which you can do your work in. Yes, that's beautiful. So you have some values with this church. Can you talk about the 5 values that come with?
Yeah,
And I don't even want to say the word church. Jack, can I say community? Because I feel more like this. I
sure.
think when we say church, we think of, the basilica, we think of cathedrals, we think of those sorts of things. And I really want people to go broader with it and
I'm
really build a
saying like
sense of
ecosystem. Like it has this. I love community, Cheryl, and I'm not trying to like
no.
I just as I'm dialing in with Jack and his heart and his intent and his community, because I just feels like it feels powerful and it feels ecosystem is
That's a
my
good one.
crazy
Good
word,
one, Kel.
right? And
Yeah.
but church is the earth word. Church
Church
is
is
the earth
earth
word where
word.
people
Yep.
can go, oh, I get you. I just feel, Jack, what you've created is something so much more.
Yes. Bigger.
Thank,
Bigger.
thank you, both of you, on that. It is a community. And there's a lot of things I can say about this. The 5,
Talk about the 5 values.
Talk
Yep.
about, because I
the
think that
5,
your 5 values are very, very
They're
strong and
very
they're
key.
beautiful.
They're very key.
the 5 values.
Yep.
Okay, I'll just name them in order. There's no particular reason in this order, but you start with like self-knowledge, and you have
Yep.
attunement to nature, deep friendship, diversity, and positive sexuality. And then the belief system the belief that kind of ties us together is the idea of immanent divinity. And so it's those things that kind of define the community. If you believe in those things, you're welcome. If you're kind of curious, you can fill it out and see where you want to be. But that's the defining thing that defines the community. Matter of fact,
So, Jack, do people
in order,
just show up? Do
well,
people
yeah,
just show up at your church? Or how do they become involved if they want to become involved in this community? Because I think there's so many people searching for a community right now. And, the words you say, divinity, culture, you talk about safety, you talk about, beautiful, beautiful words amongst 40 acres, I must, add to that. How do people get involved? How do they get involved? How do they get invited? Do they just show up? What happens?
okay. There's a lot of different avenues to it, but the
Yep.
basic thing is that you'll get information here, or you contact me. I'm kind of like the gatekeeper.
Yep.
But it's by invite only, because we really need to make sure that it's friends of friends or people who are really interested in it. And so a lot of times people get introduced because there's a convention over here, or there's somebody there, they hear about it, and they say,
Yep.
oh, okay, here's how you contact them. And you contact me. Right now I'm the kind of the main gatekeeper, but once you are in, you come, right? And do you like being here? Nobody complains about you and everybody's having a good time with you, you're invited to come back. You'll get a schedule. You let us know that you want to come, and that's fine. And what happens is over time, people, again, it's a lot of people say, I'm not a joiner, but they end up joining a community of people who don't join. And it's really interesting because that's the freedom that, is inviting, because we really want to encourage people to become more of an individual, be who they are.
Yep.
And it goes back to the 5 values. If you listen to it, attunement to nature. Oh yeah, it's not just doing the ritual, but you get in tune with your nature. Okay, you develop deep friendships, because what'll happen when you come here, you eventually develop friends of friends. And in order to become a member, you have to have at least 2 people say, yeah, so and so, they're cool. We're fine with that person, right? And then the other hurdle is that you got to talk to one of the clergy or one of the people on the board. And the old joke was, we try to talk you out of joining, but we can't talk you out of it. We want to make sure that you know what you're getting involved in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to be recommended, and you need to have a talk. And then we instead of doing donations or tithing, we just have a straight up $10 a month membership, or $120 a year. And that helps us build the infrastructure and maintain the place. Okay. So did that answer your question?
Yes, that did answer my question. So if people want to get involved, the initial first thing they do is contact you.
Correct.
Okay. And all your information, Jack, is running down below, as well as Kelly's so kind and has it all up on our show today. So if people want to get involved, that's the first thing to do. So what can you expect? So, so people give you a call, Jack, you talk to them, you say, I want to invite you out. What can people expect once they get there?
Okay.
And is it every weekend? How often do you guys get together?
Okay, how about this? I'm going to pause you guys. I'm going to run a commercial that is very like-minded, and we're going to come back and we're going to answer that question. Okay?
Perfect.
Everybody, we'll be back in just a couple moments. Are you interested in a church and community whose rituals seek to foster psychological wholeness? A belief in immanent divinity whose psychology is one of wholeness, and a community organized around 5 key values? Then welcome to Sweetwood Temenos, a 501c3 church since 2000 of evolving neo-pagan tradition of the Age of Aquarius that is rooted in 40 acres on the Kickapoo River Valley of Wisconsin. Are you curious? Reach out. Call 608-625-4060 or email jackingersoll261952@gmail.com or ingkj@met.net and chat with Jack personally. He's the senior priest. You can also find out more information at sweetwoodtemenos.org. That's SweetwoodTemenos.org. Outside of the email address being wrong, I think that was a perfect time to just show everybody what we've been talking about.
Yes.
So what, I wanted to say about coming here, one of the caveats that people need to know, and we talked about before, that I'm upfront with it about this is a closed optional place. And that means, people can take the liberty and freedom to be naked, as we see it as a sacred and a divine experience. And there's a lot of reasons behind it, but it also is about attunement to nature. But also, we're very strongly involved in the goddess energy. And I will just say, from pagan gatherings I've been at that were organized around the goddess energy, people were naked, and men and women were free, and they were able to relate to each other in an adult way that was really intimate and positive. So we carried that energy over to what Sweetwood is today.
It's beautiful. That's very sacred. So what can people expect, Jack? Give you a jingle, they connect with you, you invite them. How often do you get together, and what do they stay for the weekend? What's involved?
Okay, here we go. There's 8 Sabbaths, right? That's, the 8 wheels you've got. If you know anything about equinoxes and solstices, that's 4 of the directions, right? And then there's cross quarters. So like we got coming up the first fruits, which is a Lunsad or Lammas, and after that it's the fall equinox, and then Samhain, which is Halloween, and Yule, and then Imbolc, which is Groundhog's Day, spring equinox, then Beltane. Okay, and then summer solstice. So those are the 8 ones, And anytime you come, from Friday night and Saturday night, if you want to camp, because we license campground, it's free. Just come. And we have our own form of ritual, and it's going to be, if you can ask us more about it, we can explain it. But you can come to the ritual, participate, experience it, and then it might be something you're interested in. You might come back for more. You might not. I'm not too interested in whatever. It's up to you. But those are the main ones, right? Then we have open house on Memorial Day weekend and Labor Day, where you can come for that weekend and you don't pay anything for camping. Otherwise, if you become a friend, you're not a member, it's $15 a night per adult, and that's cool with us. But if you're a member, you don't pay anything. Okay, so it's meant for people to really access nature, because we have all kinds of butterflies and mushrooms, turkeys, deer, hawks, crow, you name it, we have it all here. It's really quite something. So it's meant for people to contemplate. It's meant for people to come and recreate. It's meant to be place of celebration, right?
Mhm.
So
You don't want someone showing up and asking what the Wi-Fi password is?
they
I'm just kidding.
no, but they can do that because
I know, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Thank you. But anyway, so that those are the 8, and then there are a few other groups that come in and rent the whole place, but they share the common value. So we will rent it out for the weekend or a week. We had one that just came in called the Grand Sabbath. They're a group out of Minneapolis, part of a coven that's been going on for, I don't know, at least 25 years, maybe 30 years.
Mhm.
Then recently, some people who are the part of the community are burners. And the word got among burners that this might be a good place to do a regional burn. And so we've had a regional burn here.
Jack, I just got my media pass for Burning Man 2024 and my ticket. I'm going on behalf of Edge Magazine, so I'm so excited. So and I thought of you when we were talking about it with the burning community. So I'm just like, yay!
Well, if I had the money, I might go. The guy who does the engineering for the fire out there was here, and he did a beautiful fireworks aside. He
I'm
gave
sure.
me his card. If you want to go and you're a virgin, because you haven't been there, you can come with our group. I don't have the money yet, so anyway.
It's crazy. And I'm like flying into Reno, and then I have to get my supplies. I have to find like an army surplus store. There's like all of this. It is. I had to write a 10-page like dissertation on why I felt I could be of value of the Burning Man community. And
Or they believe in gift giving.
Yep.
And
There's no money, only allowed for coffee and ice. That's the only, because I'm media, I get to go in the tent and get all that stuff anyway. But you have to give. It's an energy exchange. It's very, yeah.
Generosity is a part of our value of deep friendship.
That's beautiful.
It is. So to go back to your question, so those are the ways in that we practice that, and then there's times anybody, as long as you get permission, you can come out and picnic. It doesn't cost anything. And see.
So what kind of groups? Like, okay, tell me, because I think there's a definite people that I know I run across, and I'm sure Cheryl does as well, people that are trying to host events. And we're always looking for sacred land. We're always looking for sacred experiences. Tell us if someone was interested in throwing an event that's like-minded, of course, in your land, in your ecosystem, at your community. What's your capacity? What can you hold? And like, give me your little menu so we can get people kind of percolating ideas.
The Burning Man people brought in 165 people, and we were prepared for 200.
Okay.
Right? The campground itself will hold about 95 people. Then we have trailer space, 8 of them. So we figure about 100 on that.
Now, is that like 95 tents, or is this like 50 tents to a tent?
Yeah, 50 tents to a tent. Right.
Got it. Okay.
But then we do a special events, and then they park I mow the hayfield, and people can put trailers up there or can put we don't have a lot of flat land, so there's only so much land that we can hold how many people. But if people are willing to do a little bit of uncomfortableness, we probably could do up to 200, but we'd rather stay around about 150. That house got 4 flush toilets. 2 of them are for people who are physically challenged, 4 vanities. We have a group shower and private showers. We have a utility room that has washer and dryer in it, and we have a 30 by 40 by 10 foot high picnic shelter. And so and it's the campsites are all a little bit terrace going down the hill, but no standing water, fairly cool. And then we got a couple sacred sites, the main circle, then we have a goddess circle, and then we have a men's circle that they call the bullstone. Matter of fact, the commercial you show the standing rock that a bunch of guys did. They're mixed guys, were gay, straight, and bi. We all put it together, made that circle down there. It happened. So anyway, so that what you need to do, you got to figure out if you want to rent the whole weekend, or like say 3 nights or 4 nights. You really should look at having 60 people, because then that's $3,000, and we really want to if we're going to deny members that camping experience, we want to make sure that there's enough large group to do that. So, 3 nights would be like about $45, and if you had about 60, if it was really 50, you come up with about $3,000. So that's how we kind of figured that out, and that becomes a flat rate. But if it starts to get higher, like the burners were here for all the extras that they did, they gave out was $5,200 for what they did. Okay, for the extra people, but we started about $3,000. And I forgot to mention we have our own ice machine. Everybody loves the ice machine, so you can go in there. It produces about 40 gallons worth of ice, and you just scoop it out and take it back to your campsite. You don't have to leave, and you can do that. So, yeah, and you got a big hay field, and you got trees on the south side of the hedge. You got where the road is out there. We got wild plum and hawthorn out there. And then you got the woods, so it's enclosed. And just a little side, I had to do a vision quest to become ordained. And what I had was a vision called the Plum Blossom Vision. And a woman gave me a book and said, "This is the book you're going to write." On the cover was a Renaissance book, a picture of plum blossoms all around it, and people in the middle of this garden, with people running around naked doing all kinds of things. And a man and woman by an oak tree gave me the boom sign, and it's called Plum Blossom Vision. So I set out to make sure the whole place is enclosed, because in Persian, paradise means enclosed garden.
Nice.
So this, in 2012, we did magic to make this incarnation of a little piece of paradise on earth.
Nice. Beautiful, Jack. So tell us a little bit about your 4th of July event. What happened on your 4th of July event, and who was there?
Well, it basically, like in the Western pagan tradition, every year they always would have a gathering called, at least in the Norse and in the Germanic, called the Thing. So that's our general assembly, as it were, because the board meets 4 other times during the year. Okay, so we have that great potluck, but there's a celebration. Because the founding myth, this goes back to the mythical poetic, the metaphor. What we did, and there's a story behind this, but just stay with me. We brought the cosmology of the matriarchy, the earth god, the sky gods, the sun gods, the moon god. They represent a certain type of way of being. Then you have the patriarchy, the sky goddess, the sky god, earth mother, sun god, and moon goddess. Anyway, we did a hand fasting and a marriage. We created a 4-way marriage. It became the mandala, the symbol of making peace, because there used to be, in the old ways, when you want to end war, you create a peace marriage. So we created peace marriage to be on the 2000, and there's a story behind that, but according to our way of reckoning, using a Neolithic long count. 2000 became the last Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Pisces and the first of the Aquarius. And so we timed it for that. And so every year we celebrate that marriage. But one year is the moon god and sun gods. The next year is the sun god and the moon goddess. And that was what it is here. And they keep on doing this anniversary. And we keep on doing the power. And we keep on sharing the water.
Perfect. So that's already passed because we're July 30th today, but they could still get in touch with you. They can look forward to that for next July. There's still a lot of events to take place for the rest of the year between the new moons, the full moons, the equinoxes, all the stuff you've got going on. I think the beauty, Jack, the beauty for me is the connecting back to the earth. I think that, I talk a lot about that in my work with people is, lean against a tree, connect to Mother Earth, connect back to the earth, to the nature, back to our core. And I think that's where you give these people give people who come there a very sacred place to do that and start to shed some of the things we need to shed that we've picked up along the way that we think we need or how we need to be. If it sounds like you give this beautiful sacred place for people to discover, instead of what the outside world thinks you should be, go inside, go connect to the earth, connect to the gods, connect to all of it, and figure out who you are today in a very sacred, safe place. And that's beautiful, Jack. That's beautiful.
Well, you said it well, and
Thank
that's the offering that we make to people.
Awesome.
Okay. And
Jack, you have an amazing place. You do amazing work. Your whole, you described yourself as a hippie. How did you say it? You're a hippie that.
I'm an old farm boy, hippie. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm an old city girl hippie that turned priest, and so we kind of, and as a therapist, so we kind of got those four elements together. I just happen to be from the cities, but I think that that's the beauty behind this is that look at the journey you've traveled to where you are today.
Yeah.
Wow. And to share that wisdom and that knowledge and to share those experiences with the people that come to your sacred land. I think that is a gift all in and of itself. And so I thank you for that. I thank you for opening up that and being on your journey and staying on your journey and offering it to others so people can get back to the basis of who we are.
Yeah. Thank you. Now, I don't know how far it go from here, but I did my work.
Yep.
And then this is the whole thing that came about. It comes from vision. It comes from doing my own psychological work and follow that myth of self. And this is what I've offered. And this is how at 72 years old, it's like, how did I get here? And he looked at the whole thing and it's just amazing because it's not something I read in the book and somebody told me how to do it. Yeah, it's like good baking, kind of, I'm going to grab this and I'm going to grab this, but then something else enters in, the mystery enters in, and it also makes it come together. And it's like, I'm always amazed how it comes together. And I'm also amazed about who the new people come in, who stays, who goes, who comes back. It's just an interesting dance. And I'm always amazed, I hope I live another 20 years. I'm really amazed. The pine trees were planted in 1960 because the 8 acres of it was so eroded they couldn't grow anything. And now some of those pine trees, imagine them 60 years old. They're big pine trees. It's gorgeous, and there's parts of the woods that are all maples. Why it's called Sweetwood. Sweetwood is because the maples are there, but it's a mixed hardwood forest. It's because the driftless was a seed bed after the glacier. You had northern hardwoods and the oak savannas. Those seeds blew east and was so part of reforesting the Appalachian Mountains in the northern parts. This was a seed bed. It just blows me away.
Beauty, Jack, here's the beauty. In those seeds, the people that come to you are fresh seeds.
Yeah.
And they're being planted. And that's what's growing. So when you look at those pine trees that have grown over 60 years, and you're 72, right? And you think of where you've grown over those 72 years, it's just a model to show you how you've grown and they've grown. And that, my friend, is beautiful.
And this is where, proof of what they call proof of the theory, whatever you want to call it. It was supposed to be a prototype for what a neo-pagan church is. It's what, how can us from the European, the white folk, take back the land, take it out of commercial and restore it? I don't care if it's 5 acres, 10 acres, 20. How can we restore it and make it a place that is in tune with nature? And isn't this be a really good way that with a little bit of money, we asked when we first talked about dues. Everybody, some people were on disability. They all said $10 because that's what a pizza would cost back in 1999. So everybody could ante up.
They're 50 now.
Everybody could ante up, and we never changed the dues. It's still.
Right.
And so that was the whole thing, because everybody, don't matter how meager, you could be part of this whole thing of being seeds, right?
It's amazing. So, Jack, are you going to be at Pagan, the fall event? Are you going to be at the Minnehaha Falls?
No. Which one is this one? Is this the pig?
That's not Paganicon. That's in March, but they have the Pagan Fall
Pagan
Festival.
Pride. Pagan Pride.
Pagan Pride.
Yeah, Pagan Pride is in Minnehaha.
Two of our clergy, Jack and Sherry. I don't know if I'll be there or not.
I was just inviting people to come say hello and shake your hand if they're going to be there.
Oh, gee. No, that might be an incentive because it's a nice event.
It's a beautiful event. It's just set in a beautiful park too. Have you been to? I'm sure you've been to the falls,
That's
right?
where I met Jack.
Yeah. I've been there. You've been up there in Minneapolis. You probably know maybe Steve Posh.
I've heard the name before, but I don't.
The pagan community in Minneapolis, Minnesota is very big.
It's very big. It's I think the third largest in the nation.
Yeah.
It's a very vibrant. So people can meet you or meet someone from Sweetwood Temenos there.
Yep.
And then what is your what's your final invitation to our viewers? And how do you want to leave them wanting to be curious about connecting with you?
Well, you mentioned it in the thing, the advertisement. What makes us really different in some ways, our magic, our rituals, the way we organize community. I really believe in being a healer, being a therapist, like what you're talking about, that psychological wholeness. If we aren't fostering, if religion isn't fostering that, and creates inner division, what good is it? So you develop a map that really helps you organize and guides you through life. That's what we want to do. That's what we have done here. So it's like if you want to be involved, you want to be your own thing, but you want to be challenged to work on integration and make that wholeness happen. Here's a religion that does it. And, you just could even hang out and just absorb, be here as you understand. This is a safe place for men and women and children. I staked my profession on it. I stuck my neck out. I mean, I work with treatment foster care therapists. My treatment foster care organization knew that we had children here. We knew that people run around naked. They knew everything that we did. And my supervisor would report me if I was really doing something. I would report myself. It's important to have that safety because that intimacy helps move you towards integration. If you don't have that, that's where the community comes in. So the psychological wholeness, so the myths need to serve developing that. That's the pragmatic thing. If it points
sacredness, safety, authenticity, integrity. These are the words that are coming to me, and I want after what you just said, that to really have it resonate with our listenership and our community, that this is the authenticity and integrity. I mean, those words just keep coming in, are key pillars to being not only invited to be a part of the community, but to be able to explore the community and to even set foot on the land. And I want everyone to know that, how important that is for you and your community.
It is, because it could go bad real quickly.
Absolutely.
Anything can, Jack. Anything can. But I think Kelly, to add to that, Jack, if there was two words I could take out of your vocabulary, because I think it hooks people up, is church and religion.
Yeah.
Those two words make people stop. Because there's been a lot of hurt through them.
Right.
And I don't want people to miss the opportunity that you have in this community of building wholeness, of building oneness.
Yeah.
I don't want to miss that because of those words. So I loved, Kelly, what you said about those beautiful words. Those are, the sacredness, all of that coming together. And I think that's the piece here, Jack. If there's one thing that you've taught me today is, I've done the Pagan Con. I've been a vendor there. I've been a reader there. I participated in a lot of the different pagan events throughout the Twin Cities over the years. So I'm well aware of the pagan community. But this community moves it to a different level, into a sacred level, into that I thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and a final word, I try to own back the word religion. Patriarchy is giving religion a bad name. Mm-hmm. Because all it means, like Young would say, is to link back. And I think once upon a time, once we speciate, we develop an ego, which is not a bad thing. We know that we're different from nature, and we could not go back to our instincts. But we felt we had to do something to relink us to nature. Okay. And that's where religion and magic started way back once upon a time. And Jung would talk about that. That's archetypical, that somehow when you had an ego, it became self-reflective. You're going to need to have religion. Okay. But what we got out there is patriarchally appropriated, something that was perfectly okay by and large. And we've had 4,000 years of that kind of nonsense, and people, I can understand. I was hurt by that, right? Mm-hmm. So again, this is how I see the use of the word like that. And perfect. I'll leave it at that.
Perfect. Jack, this was powerful. I told you guys at the beginning, Cheryl and I said this is going to be a magical show of curiosity. And if you have any questions, it's been running the whole entire show, but you can reach out to Jack at ingkj@mwt.net. And again, we invite you to check out the website at sweetwoodtemenos.org. This has just been a great. Thank you so much, Jack, for being here. Jack. We really, really appreciate you. And just to wrap things up, I'm going to ask Jack, you should come. Art on the Edge. It is August 10th. It's going to be great in the Twin Cities. Today, we just want to share and invite everybody that checked in to come see this beautiful outside festival.
I would love to come, but you know what we did? Mm-hmm. Our face-to-face for our clergy guild is meeting on that day.
Well, I think that's more important for you to be there.
Well, it is, because I got to replace myself. And we got a bunch of good people coming up. This is what my job. I step down. I want to become an elder. I step down from being president. I want to step down from being senior clergy. I want to be an elder. I want to know what that means. Okay. It's like in the good old days, the king, and this as male, I'm stepping down. Nobody has to overthrow me. I'm learning to share energy. This is a learning thing for me as a man, how to share energy and move on, right? And so the clergy thing has been, I never did anything like that. I was trained, but I never did. And we don't have the cookbook. We're making the cookbook as we go.
You're making the cookbook, Jack, and you're making some yumminess. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I'll leave that. I'll see if I can get to the Pagan Pride in October. That might be a good thing.
Awesome.
I would like to come to the Edge, but like I said,
you've got other things that you need to do that are very, very important. You'll be there in spirit.
Okay. Thank you too.
Thank you, Jack. You were delightful.
Thank you, Jack. It was a joy. Thank you.
All right.